Chicago resident confronts Mayor Johnson. He said, "Why are you racist?" Wow. Right to his face. Man, one of the worst mayors in our country. One of the worst mayors in Chicago history. And Chicago had some terrible, terrible mayors. Mayor Johnson is ridiculous, talking about all he hires is black people, which is illegal on the face of it. Even if you do it, it's kind of hard to prove, right? If you do something like that, it's kind of hard to prove. But he came out his mouth and admitted that all he hires is black people, which is crazy to me in 2025. And he's an open racist. He's just happened to be black. It's crazy to me that anyone voted for this guy. We tried to warn y'all. We warned y'all before y'all voted for this guy. But Chicago is waking up, though. Chicago is waking up. They are a lot of people, black people in particular, that are turned off from Mayor Johnson. Matter of fact, he turned a lot of them red. A lot of them became Republicans and conservatives. Mayor Johnson is just a ridiculous guy. It's destroying Chicago. Beautiful city. And I thought you couldn't get any worse than Mayor Lightfoot. I thought you couldn't get any worse than her. And then he came in and was like, "Oh, I'll see what you did and I'll raise you something," which is wild. But we're gonna play the clip. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon, and that's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. A Chicago resident tore into Mayor Brandon Johnson a day after the DOJ announced an investigation into his hiring practices. Again, this is totally illegal to only hire a certain race. And then, like I said, he's on video admitting this. He admitted this. Why? He's an idiot. He's an idiot. But the mayor admitted he hires black people more than anyone. The interaction took place at a city council meeting. So let's get right to the clip here. Here we go. Shout out to Legal Insurrection for this article, and shout out to In Wokeness for posting this on X. Here we go.
Real Chicagoans woke up this morning relieved that the Department of Justice is finally investigating your race hustle. As someone who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I've heard a lot of race hustlers in my life, trust me. But they were usually marching around outside of City Hall, which is what makes this so embarrassing and dangerous. Very, very dangerous to the city of Chicago.
Okay, we need the question.
I'm more than happy to ask this question. It's long overdue. For over a year, real Chicagoans, white and black, have been telling me that your black power rhetoric is bringing the city backwards from a place that
we need the question.
Had overcome. You want the question?
Please.
Real Chicagoans want to know, why are you a racist?
Well, first of all, I reject the idea and the premise that somehow that's an actual legitimate question.
Well, it is a legitimate question.
All right, we're going to go.
Well, I guess I can see what he's saying. It's like, why are you hitting your wife? So I can see why you say that. But the question, you get what he's trying to ask, though. Are you a racist? It's obvious that you're a racist. Why? Just to come out and admit it. But I can see his argument on the way you ask the question. You don't ask someone, why are you this? Why are you that? You ask them, are you this or are you that? So I'll give him a little bit of bail for that. But answer the question. Are you a racist? Are you a racist, Mayor Johnson? And we all know the answer to that. Absolutely he is. But let's play the rest of it.
Go to the next one. Alice?
The next question, my follow-up question is a businessman, Robert Gomez, had his riverfront restaurant license yanked. You said that the reason you hire black people is because they're the most generous race on the planet.
That is what he said.
His riverfront restaurant license was yanked and given to a black restaurateur. That has, once again, reinforced the belief among real Chicagoans,
Okay.
white and black
We need
and
the
Mexican,
question.
that you are a racist. What do you say to those people?
Again, I reject the premise that somehow that your question has any legitimacy.
No.
Thank you for your time, sir.
No, that was an actual legitimate question. He gave a statement, and he said something about what people said, and he asked him what's your response to what they say about you. So that was a legitimate question. So I don't think he should have rejected that question. That's all he got, because he is a racist. That's why he could have. I mean, he knows he's a racist. You can just look at his statements. He's a despicable individual. I don't care if you're a black racist. I don't care if you're a white racist. Hating someone or because of the color of their skin is not right. You know, this is exactly what Martin Luther King was speaking on. Johnson said the other day, there are some detractors that will push back on me and say, you know, the only thing the mayor talks about is hiring black people. No, what I'm saying is when you hire black people, we always look out for everybody else. Johnson, who is black, told the predominantly black congregation at the Apostolic Church of God in Woodlawn on Sunday. He said, we are the most generous people on the planet. That's what that question was referring to. When I don't know too many cultures that have play cousins. That's how generous we are. We just make somebody a family member. That's just how we are, he went on. The article goes on to say, again, I repeat what I said in my previous post. He doesn't know many Italians, does he? I lost count of the number of aunts, uncles, and cousins, this guy said, I have who are not blood related. Johnson not only hires black people, but also gives black business owners city contracts. Boa Construction received a huge one to work on O'Hare Airport. In October 2023, Breitbart News reported that Johnson pushed city authorities to issue fewer parking tickets to black residents. I mean, this is wild. I mean, he can't deny it. We got all the receipts to prove, and pretty much out of his own mouth, that this guy is a racist. Chicago, I can't believe y'all voted for this socialist, Marxist, racist individual that's going to make Chicago way worse, that has made Chicago way worse than what they already are. That's why he has some of the lowest, he has the lowest number of any politician in history. This guy's ridiculous. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.